Now at 5, heavy rain has led to flooding and more rain and storms in our forecast.
And we are monitoring that flooding live from Bartholomew County. I'm Samantha Johnson. We'll show you what all this water looks like from the sky coming up.
The conflict with Iran is spreading, and now an Iranian missile has just hit an oil refinery.
The impact it's already having on the stock market hours after the attack.
Tonight, we are tracking the impact of flooding across central Indiana after days of heavy rain.
And the video you see here shows the water covering playgrounds at Blue Heron Park in Franklin. And that's not the only place seeing flooding across the area. Thanks for joining us tonight at 5. I'm Felicia Lawrence.
I'm Dustin Grove in for Anne Marie. We've got live team coverage for you tonight. Samantha Johnson spent the day checking where the floodwaters are causing concerns. We'll get to her in just a minute.
We'll start with Angela right now in the Weather Center. Angela, more rain is on the way?
Felicia and Dustin, yes, more rain is on the way. The good news, we're getting a break from the widespread heavy rain, at least for now. That will continue through tomorrow with just some pop-ups possible. However, another round of some steady rain and storms in the forecast to start the weekend, and we don't need any more rain. This is rainfall totals estimated by the radar and some reports coming in. Widespread 3 to 5+ inches of rain over the last several days. So not surprising, we have flood advisories, flood warnings. The flood watch was recently dropped for the far southern part of the state, but you can see all of the green. So anywhere south of Indianapolis, we are dealing with high water. And one of the rivers right now at major flood stage is the East Fork of the White near Seymour. It's expected to crest within the next 12 hours or so, just above that major flood stage, but below record stage of 21. And then it will start to head down. We do have more rain in our forecast. Future Track 13 will show, this is live Doppler 13 radar showing the steady rain that's moving through. Spotty at best. We get a break from the heaviest rain over the next several hours, and then we turn our attention to a Saturday rain chance. But even tomorrow morning, the chance of a few spotty showers and thunderstorms. Samantha Johnson is live to our south looking at the flooding south side of Columbus in Bartholomew County. How does it look?
Well, Angela, you were talking about that East Fork of the White River. We are not far from that. In fact, all the water you can see here behind me is coming out of those banks through retention ponds that are nearby too. Take a look. This is State Road 11, just south of Columbus. If you're familiar with this area, just north of Garden City. And here's the deal. I've been here for about 6 hours now. This water is higher than it was this morning. That's because, like Angela said, it's not expected to crest until tomorrow morning around 7 o'clock here locally. So this water is still rising. I want to show you what this looks like from above. This high water from all the tributaries in Bartholomew County that feed into this part of the White River. Some places in the county, by the way, saw close to 5 inches of rain in just really the past 2 days. We talked to residents here who say at this point they are used to it. In fact, there was major flooding here just about this time last year. One resident telling us they deal with this year after year.
There's just been a lot of building up around here, so it's just different where the water is going nowadays than compared to what it was before. We're more prepared this time than what we ever been, so we hope, you know, when it goes down that we can get everything done and get it all cleaned up.
Now, we did talk to Bartholomew County EMA today. They tell us so far they have responded to at least 3 water rescues, people surrounded by water with no way to get out. And back here live in Bartholomew County, this is one of those examples. If you can see, take a look. This car thought they could get through the water this morning. That was obviously not the case, and the water has only gone up since then. Now, here on State Road 11, these barriers have been up all day. And like I said, we've been here for most of the day, and I can tell you we have witnessed people who drive around these barriers and go through the flood waters anyway. EMA begging people, please do not cross through this water. It is cold, it is quickly moving, and it is dangerous. So you will hear from those EMA officials coming up tonight at 6 o'clock.
Such an important message.
Absolutely. Sam, thank you so much.
We're seeing some of the damage caused by flooding even further south. Take a look. These are pictures from the Jennings County Sheriff's Department. Department. They shared them online today.
And they show how the heavy rain washed out a significant part of a road in the county and down trees. The Post states they've seen even more washed out roads in the area and even some water rescues. And we have more weather coverage for you over on WTHR Plus. You can check out our live Doppler 13 radar, extended forecasts, and so much more.
Yep, you can download our TV app right now. It is free of charge. All right, now to breaking news tonight at 5 o'clock in the conflict with Iran. The first is this right here from Wall Street.
That's where the Dow lost more than 1,100 points following an Iranian attack on the oil refinery there. However, it gained a couple hundred points to end the day, down nearly 800 points due to fears following surging oil prices. In the last 30 minutes, the House rejected an Iran war powers resolution.
And this is a victory for President Trump. The vote came nearly 24 hours after a similar vote in the Senate.
Tonight, Chris Pallone takes a look at how President Trump is now responding to the situation nearly a week after the conflict started.
The U.S. continues to bombard Iran now 6 days into the war and shows no sign of letting up.
We're doing very well on the war front, to put it mildly.
Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi pushed back today in an exclusive interview with NBC's Tom Yamas.
What was their goal? They came here for a regime change, perhaps. They came here for a rapid victory so they can, control everything. But they have failed. The system is working. The commanders have been replaced, and the supreme leader is going to be replaced soon.
Araghchi was defiant when asked about a U.S. ground invasion.
Because we are confident that we can confront them, and that would be a big disaster for them.
Iran has targeted American military bases in at least 15 other countries, which led many nations to shut down airspace, airlines avoiding the entire area. The State Department says it's begun charter flights to get thousands of stranded Americans out of the troubled area.
Over 20,000 Americans have been able to return to the United States since this began, including the provision of direct assistance to nearly 10,000 Americans by our 24/7 task force.
But thousands more still waiting to get out.
After many phone call attempts, I've finally gotten through. They said that, as long as I'm registered with the STEP program, and also I did fill out the crisis intake form that was just released. So they definitely know that I'm here, and now I just have to wait on the government.
Iran's threat to burn ships trying to pass through the Strait of Hormuz is having a direct impact on gas prices. AAA says the average cost for a gallon of gas is $3.25. That's up 5 cents in just one day and 27 cents in a week. Drivers in Florida waiting in long lines to fill up.
It was expected, so we got to get gas.
The unfortunate aspect, prices are not going to remain where they are, and the really unfortunate part, they're not going to be falling from where they are.
Chris Pallone, NBC News.
There are still so many people trying to leave the Middle East as this conflict grows, including a Zionsville man stuck in Dubai.
Ella Rhodes first told us about him on Monday. She joins us now. And what's the update with him?
Yeah, so Ismail Njia's flight actually for today got canceled. So he and his family are still patiently waiting for when he can return home. But despite his difficult journey, he managed to make a friend along the way.
Like I said, back in the Indian, what do we call it?
From his 3-day business trip to now a week-long stay and counting, Ismail Njia is still in Dubai.
I mean, a little frustrating, and life things happen, no matter what. As long as you have your health, you can work. What they say, what doesn't kill you make you stronger.
Njia first shared with us these videos on Monday. The missile strikes he saw in Dubai over the weekend. He hopes his third attempt home on the 15th is the charm.
I was a little bit off, say the 15th, but it's about another 10 more days. So I've tried to find different way to get out, but there's not. So, I'm not the only one.
Njia's wife, Julia Pettigrew, spends 5 hours a day on the phone to try to find a way to bring her husband home.
That's been kind of a struggle. Actually, it's been a nightmare.
Pleading for someone to help.
They have to do more. I urge them to do more. I urge Congress, the United States of America, the president to do more. They need more to help our people to come home. They have families, they have lives they want to get back to.
Including their family business in Indianapolis.
We're sad, but once again, we have faith. So I have faith more in God than I do America. period.
But she's relieved Inja isn't all alone across the world. He befriended a young man from Switzerland, also stuck in Dubai.
It is unreal. I cannot live nowhere without him. We go have breakfast. We in the coffee shop, have coffee together. We have dinner together. We hang out. Just like my my daughter. He's the same age like my daughter. He's my angel.
Yeah, we're family now.
Staying positive in the most challenging of times.
What an outlook.
Yeah, I know. Such a good positive perspective. I will say, though, right after I got off this call with Mr. Inja this morning, he called me back minutes later because the sirens actually started to go off for them to shelter in place. He did tell me, though, that he still feels safe. And when it's all over, he wants his friend from Switzerland to come visit for the Indy 500.
Oh, my goodness.
A forever friend.
Yeah, very Hoosierly.
Yes.
Right. He's going to get that Hoosier experience at some point.
Yeah, he said he's patiently waiting. I don't know that we'd be all that patient.
No,
Seriously.
no.
Does shelter in place mean like in the hotel room, or is there like a shelter in the hotel somewhere?
Yeah, it was in their hotel. So he's just kind of like staying low in the hotel. But him and both his wife, they feel safe with him in Dubai, and they're just really waiting for him to get out of there.
Well, we certainly wish them the best.
Me as well.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
NBC Nightly News with Tom Yamas is closely following the conflict with Iran.
They are going to have team coverage from Richard Engels reporting on how the conflict is expanding. Takir Simmons report on the chaos stranded Americans face as they try to leave. That's ahead at 6:30 right here on Channel 13.
Paying for electricity needed to run data centers.
The company is now part of a pledge to cover those costs. It's ahead at 5:30. Angela?
Felicia, we are getting a break from the widespread heavy rain, t-shirt weather tomorrow. It's going to be a warm Friday. In fact, record warmth in the Friday forecast.
All right, Angela, also helping Hoosier cancer patients.
The bill Governor Braun just signed into law this week and how it will benefit people going through treatment. Plus, an update in the shooting of a Tippecanoe County judge.
The request just made in court today.